Black Friday is the term for the phenomenon that takes place in the US on the day after Thanksgiving Thursday, when millions of people who get the day off from work or school crowd into stores for what is traditionally considered the beginning of the Christmas shopping season. Black Friday has become as synonymous with Thanksgiving as pumpkin pie, but there seems to be a lot of myths surrounding the true origin of the shopping frenzy, some even going as far back as the 1800s. The history of Black Friday started much earlier than people think, so we actually don't have to rewind that far to find the source. The day after Thanksgiving was the unofficial beginning of the Christmas season since the late 19th century. It started when President Lincoln established the Thanksgiving holiday as the last Thursday in November. So it did until 1939 during the Great Depression, when retailers warned that they would go bankrupt because the holiday shopping season was too short. They petitioned President Franklin D. Roosevelt to move the Thanksgiving holiday up to the fourth Thursday. Unfortunately, by this time, it was late October. Most people had already made their plans. Some were so upset that they called the holiday Franksgiving instead. Only 32 states followed FDR's move. Others celebrated two holidays, which forced some companies to give their employees an extra day off. In 1941, Congress ended the confusion. It passed a law that made Thanksgiving the fourth Thursday in November. And in the 1950s, people began calling in sick the day after Thanksgiving, essentially giving themselves a 4-day weekend. Since stores were open, as were most businesses, those playing hooky could also get a head start on the holiday shopping, so long as their boss didn't see them. Rather than try to figure out whose pay should be cut and who was really sick, many businesses just started adding the day as another paid holiday. The first recorded use of the term Black Friday had nothing to do with holiday shopping. That's because the name was associated with September 24th, 1869, when two notoriously ruthless Wall Street financiers, Jay Gould and Jim Fisk, worked together to buy as much as they could of the nation's gold, hoping to drive the price sky high and sell it for astonishing profits. On that Friday in September, the conspiracy finally unraveled, sending the stock market into freefall and bankrupting everyone from Wall Street barons to farmers. That dark day came to be known as Black Friday. Nearly a century would pass before Black Friday earned its present connotation. The most commonly repeated story behind the Black Friday tradition links it to retailers. As the story goes, after an entire year of operating at a loss, or as they would say, in the red, stores would supposedly earn a profit or went into the black on the day after Thanksgiving, because holiday shoppers blew so much money on discounted merchandise. This makes a lot of sense, as retail companies used to record losses in red and profits in black when doing their accounting, but it's not supported by any evidence. In recent years, another myth has surfaced that gives an ugly twist to the tradition, claiming that back in the 1800s, southern plantation owners could buy slaves at a discount on the day after Thanksgiving. This version of Black Friday's roots has understandably led some to call for a boycott of the retail holiday, but there isn't any proof to back this claim up. The more likelier story originated in Philly. In 1950s Philadelphia, Thanksgiving weekend was a mob scene. The Army and Navy college football teams celebrated their fierce rivalry each year with a neutral ground clash in Philly on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. The day before, thousands of people from surrounding communities would flood into the city in anticipation of the big game. They'd take the opportunity to stock up on clothes, home goods, and other giftable items at Central Philly's many retail shops and department stores. Even in a big city like Philadelphia, the annual wave of shoppers and fans was enough to clog streets and strain local health and safety resources. City cops would have to work extra long shifts dealing with the additional crowds and traffic. Shoplifters would also take advantage of the bedlam in stores to make off with merchandise, adding to the law enforcement headache. Basically, Black Friday wasn't a great day to be a public servant in mid-20th century Philadelphia. By the 1960s, locals had taken to calling the chaotic day after Thanksgiving Black Friday. Amid the intense racial and social tensions of the time, this wasn't the most flattering descriptor. Local politicians and business leaders even looked to rebrand the day as Big Friday, a happier construction. But it didn't stick. Black Friday did. Black Friday isn't a static holiday, and every year it's different and evolving. The Black Friday today has little resemblance to the chaotic city center pilgrimages of the first 2/3 of the 20th century. As we'll see in a moment, it's still pretty chaotic, but the action is only in a few places sometimes. Black Friday's chaotic origins echo today. Like clockwork, every year brings reports of terrifying stampedes, senseless shopper-on-shopper violence, theft, and other perils. Black Friday isn't quite what it used to be, but it's still a great experience and a good way to snag limited time deals that can reduce your holiday shopping budget. So if you go out, make sure to stay safe. Oh, and be a decent human being and turn your phone horizontal before you record any fights.
Walt Disney's Donald Duck seems to be suffering from that morning after the night before feeling. Pull yourself together.